Hello and welcome back. We're going to go ahead and get into the next steps of the Corsair, getting it to essentially where it's ready to get the weathering done. I've really been struggling to get time on the workbench and managed to get a little bit this week, so I didn't get a whole lot done, but I did get some things done. A couple of gitches and gotchas as I go through the next levels of the assembly and so forth, but we'll talk through them as we get there. So let's just get into it. First thing I did was get into the riveting, and just one step at a time, using the riveting tool and measuring up according to markings I found online. Just marked them out with a pencil and got to it. And all right, so I actually had fun doing that. You can kind of see them. Got some rivets put in, following patterns from the internet. Okay, so got rivets put in on the fuselage. The wings have touched up underneath in here. So now what I want to, the other thing I did do is drilled out these exhausts. So now the next thing I need to do is go ahead and get this ready for painting, which means I need to finish off the cockpit, put the glass on, so then that ends up at being the mask for the cockpit. And then this piece is something that I can go ahead and put a base coat on. We have this part base coated and ready. Have that much done, so it's ready to basically go on there and then do all the weathering. Did all of the flaps, and I have them marked because there's, I know me, right, that I'm going to get those all confused. So we put these together, did all the sanding, and then have those base coated. We have the landing gear done. And I hit them with wash, and we have that much finished. I didn't put the actual wheels on yet. I'm doing the tanks. Those are going up. So slowly but surely getting there. Clean these up so we can get these, also base painted and ready to go. And then you can see where we have this, right? So leaving off this so that I can base paint this and get the main color down, right? Then I can go back, put the doors on, put the gear on, put these pieces in, and then we can have this ready for the, so basically have this part. Then the wings, which will also be done. I still have to put those together because they're all still here, right? So yeah, we're getting there. Well, and getting to the point now where it's transfer time. So main fuselage piece is done. I've already given it its shot of gloss coat to go ahead and put on the to start working on the transfers. I did put the gear on, did not put the wheels on. Had kind of have to put the wheel there, but did put the wheel. Kind of have to put the wheel on there because, well, it is. Did not put the gear on there just because it makes it easier to weather later. Leaving that the way it is. These are the pieces that go into the tips of the wing so that you can then do the folded wing, which I will do later, right? I'm going to go ahead and put those on last when I put on the wings, so that way I can get to all this to paint it. Now, note of order, yes, did go with the light green underneath for all the inside and all the interior pieces here. These will get detail painted up. For those of you Corsair purists that can tell me what the correct color is, I'm sorry, that's what I'm going with. It's what I see in my head, and it's what I got, so that's what I'm going with. So my apologies if I am incorrect. That's just that's a thing, so hopefully I don't upset you too terribly much. Setting that to the side, I did do the wings. Now what I have done is I have filled the gun ports with epoxy putty, and I will put in barrels. Cut these out. So I will drill them in and put those in. The other thing I noticed, and I'm covered in dog hair, so my models are covered in dog hair, is these ports. So this was something that bothered me. There's nothing in there, right? So they're big empty space, and I know that that's where the shells come out, so it should be open, and the shell should be able to fall out. But because this is going to sit like this, and I'm going to see it. I'm going to see the inside of the wing, which is not all the gun port and everything else. So it makes me feel better. I put a little piece of black plastic in there to cover that up. My goodness, I'm covered in dog hair. Goodness gracious. But I did go through, the wing went together well. This all is going together really well, which, is completely shocking being that it's a Tamiya kit. I'm kidding. But where I am now, I mean, this really, 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 I have to put these onto the bottom parts here. Put the flaps on. I am intentionally not putting the flaps on this wing yet, just so I can get at it to paint it. I need to figure out what to do with the transfers. But then we'll go ahead, we'll get it on. And then once the transfers are on, seal it. So basically I will do that with this part, these two parts, and these two parts, right? I don't see a point in putting these on yet, right? They go there. That way I can get to all of the parts to go ahead and do all of the weathering. Once I put the transfers on, then I can seal them. I'll put I'll put those flaps on the thing, and then I can just go ahead and start the weathering. So let's go ahead and we'll get the transfers put on. Right, the primary markings, come on, I can get my mouth to work here, are on. Where are the other pieces? Here we go. Yeah, the trick on some of these, and I think these are going to be the same with the Tamiya transfers as well. You also have the flaps that go down, so these marks here extend onto those flaps. So I needed to remember to do that. With that said, I've got the primary transfers on. I am going to let them set up. Then I'll go back and put the small little bits of stencil. Now, this is the transfers I actually chose to use, right? And it's for this particular aircraft. So it's changed a little bit from it. This isn't one that's in the Tamiya kit, and it doesn't have the specific markings for the ones in the Tamiya kit, which is okay. The one thing I'm really not happy with. So two things. There's actually two things I'm not happy with. First being this. There we go. Those transfers there are not on the sheet. Here's a picture I just took. Right, so they're not on the sheet. So those numbers will not be on there. Now I'm going to do this one more time. It's number 20. These are what's left. And again, I don't see number 20. I don't know if you guys see. Hey, if you do, great, but I don't. So I've got those primary ones. I've got these big primary transfers on already. What I now will do is go back and do the stencil transfers using the ones from the Tamiya kit. And I'm going to do that because these are annoying. Okay, that's not really fair.
These are printed as one whole sheet. So your carrier film is the whole sheet. So in order to cut out the transfer that you need to cut out right to the transfer. And I struggle, I mean, you can, but I struggle to see them. So in order to keep that in a little more of a tolerable little, in order for me to be able to handle it, I'm going to go back and pull the transfer or the transfer stencil data from this one and put those on. So, but I'm going to let this set up first because I'm going to finger this stuff, and I know me, and I'll rip these things off. So I want to go ahead and let those set out. These are nice. They transfer well. Okay, these guys do. They're going down all right. They're a little flimsy-ish, but not bad. But yeah, it for an alternate marking, they're not terrible. They're actually let me rephrase. For alternate marking, they're kind of nice. Okay, so go ahead and let those set up. I will come back to them, put on the stencil markings, and then we will finish that out. And with that, we'll go ahead and call this one done. Basically, at this point, we have it sort of factory finish, right? So what's next is all the weathering and all of that to do, which will be the last bit that I'll do, and then we'll be done with this model. So that'll be for the next video because I haven't got that far. I just want to go ahead and let the sealant cure up and get nice and finished before I go ahead and hit it with the oils and so forth. So until next time, I hope this was helpful or at least entertaining. And until next time, happy modeling.